A number of years ago, we were invited to hold an evangelistic series in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. But just before the meetings, there was unrest in society. Students at the university had rioted in the streets. Dissident groups had joined these students. Cars were burned, windows were smashed, and the entire country was really tense. That tension led to a curfew. From 7 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning, nobody could be on the streets. As we approached our evangelistic meetings, we knew that if that curfew remained, we wouldn't be able to have our satellite meetings in the Sir John Guise Stadium. When I arrived, the nation was still under curfew. There were still hulls of burned cars on the streets. The tension was just palpable. The tension was in the air. The police, the students, the general populace. We arrived on a Monday, and we organized 1,000 radical prayers, people that would storm heaven. And as we continued to pray all week, Monday through Thursday, nothing seemed to be happening. Still curfew. I woke up on Friday morning. Our meetings were to start on Friday night. We had set up the stadium, but we didn't know if we could have the meeting because of the curfew. As I woke up Friday morning, it said, in the headlines of the newspaper, Parliament meets till 2 a.m. in the morning. Curfew lifted. Subtitle, Seventh-day Adventists can have their meetings. And then it said, the Prime Minister of the nation will speak tonight at Sir John Guise Stadium. He'll introduce Pastor Finley, and the entire nation is invited. The national newspaper carried the story. Radio and television carried the story. And that night, in the meeting where we thought there may be a curfew and we couldn't have it, 100,000 people came out to the meeting that night. The stadium was packed. And night after night, 100,000 people remained at the meetings. My first altar call, 10,000 came forward. God works in incredible ways. But God looks beyond the masses. He looks to individuals. Let me tell you one miracle story. When the new millennium dawned, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, experienced what they called the robbery of the century. A group of robbers hijacked a helicopter. They landed on the roof of the National Bank, and they went in to rob that bank. The bank manager, who happens to be a Seventh-day Adventist and a friend of mine, Brother Balicki, called the Prime Minister. He said, Prime Minister, they're robbing your bank. Incidentally, he told me later that somebody said to him, the robbers are in the bank, they're shooting, pray. And Brother Balicki yelled to his employees, I prayed this morning, duck, the bullets are flying. And then he called the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister sent his crack bodyguards there, the best shots in the nation. About 4 of those robbers were shot dead on the site. 1 got away in the helicopter, and eventually the police apprehended that man. Now, when I got to Port Moresby, the situation was so tense that the Prime Minister assigned me 4 bodyguards. One of them was one of the bodyguards that shot dead 4 people who were robbing the bank. The other man who got away served his prison term and now was out. He was no longer in prison. That man began coming to our meetings. I made the appeal. He came to Christ. Eventually, when this man was baptized, the bodyguard was standing by my side. I raised my hand as I looked at the former robber, the former criminal in the baptismal pool, and I said, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And he went down into the water. You should have seen the look on the bodyguard's face. He was absolutely amazed at the power of the gospel. There is hope for every man, every woman, every child. Jesus still speaks by his Holy Spirit, and may this story of hope inspire your heart.